Hi guys, welcome to this video. Really important one today. It's all about statistics of the construction industry in the UK. Now, I think personally for me, if you're in an industry and you're serious about growing a business, it's always good to know some numbers about it and get your head around the size of the market, where things are at, what direction they're going into as well, because a positive indicator or a negative indicator of are you in a declining market or an increasing market. So what I've done here is taken all of these stats that the government publish on construction as a whole. And if you're a bit like me, you're a bit of a geek with this type of stuff. You like to know your numbers. I've just made this a lot more simpler to understand, taking out a lot of the fluff, so we can just get to the right stuff that you want to know. So first one, value of work. Now this is per year, so starting in 2001 over here. See, this is in billions as well. So 48 billion pounds worth of work. Construction as a whole, the whole industry, that was what was spent in 2001. And you can see it's going up every year. And to be honest, there's been little blips and little changes, but obviously 2008 we had the biggest recession, so we had a dip the couple of years after that. But you know, the country's still doing 74 billion pounds worth of work after the worst financial crash that's ever happened to the country since they've started doing records. But if you keep looking, on the whole, it's going up and going up by a massive value. If you look here at 2021, this is what records are up to date to at the moment. 115 billion pounds worth of work a year. And look at the shift just from 2000, 45 billion. We've jumped to 115 billion pounds a year of work. There's still a housing shortage. There's still not enough labour. There's still not enough companies to actually deliver all the work that is available. So it's a booming, massive, big market, which is obviously good news for anyone that's in it because it's got so much potential. Now, the next one is turnover brackets. So I think it's really good to understand where you are roughly based on where you're at with your company at the minute. So you know what turnover you're currently doing. And you'll notice that the first bracket, the line of 0 to £500,000, this line here, out of 353,000 total companies in the whole industry, the whole construction industry, UK, 289,000 of them are under the £500,000. So the lion's share, look at that, 81%, nearly 82% of all companies, they don't cross the 500 grand a year bracket. They stay small, and it's very small in the market. You know, you've seen the market yourself. 115 billion total worth. Under £500,000 is a very small, very small part of the market. But that's the lion's share of it. So most people are in that bracket, and then the jump up just to go from 500k to a million is under 9%. Only 9% of all companies achieve that and do that. So there's obviously a big gap there of why that is. Is it knowledge, capabilities, skill sets? I think so, because the work is there. So there is a huge gap. But then going to 1 to 5 million, 7.5%. But to be in the 5 to 10 million, which is the experience that I've got in of running a £10 million company, only 1% of all companies do that. So it's a big deal. You know, not many people do it. 1%. That's a very small percentage of companies that achieve that. And obviously this goes all the way on to, you know, a billion plus company. Only the 0.1% achieve that. There's only so many big conglomerates of companies that get £1 billion a year revenue, 0.01% revenue. Your chances of starting something new today and getting to that point, the company's doing that. They're 30, 40, 50 years old. They've been in the game a long time. They've swallowed up a lot of stuff to get to that point. I think for most people, sticking in this bracket here of the up to 5 million, if you can get into these two zones here, you're doing very well. Then the next one, work per trade. So I think it's always just interesting to understand like what trades are getting the share of the work. So if you look at this, commercial buildings account for 10% of the market, people that build commercial buildings. Domestic buildings, so houses, is 20% of the market. Roads, 3%. And then we look through. But if you look at some stuff that's going to apply to most of you watching this, civil engineering, groundworks, that type of stuff, 14% of the market. Electrical, 10%. Plumbing and heating, 8%. And you can start seeing, you know, how much, depending on what trade you're in, as the share of the market that trade actually has. Okay. Then we look at the employees, which is a biggie because the reason that people stay small, stay in the £0 to £500,000 a year turnover business, because they haven't got any employees. So it's the limiting factor of people you've got. And again, that's sort of proven with this because you see that most companies, the first bracket, 10% of them, it's just zero employees. It's just the one person that owns a company. It's just them on their jack. The next biggest one, the lion's share, is there's one employee. So it's the guy who started it, and then he's taken on one person that accounts for 43% of the market. So once you start getting above 4 to 7 employees, not many companies that achieve that and do that. The 8 to 13 employees is only 3.8%. So there's a clue that if you want to grow a decent business, you need employees. You obviously, that is the factor of doing more work. It's the people that allow that to happen. But this just proves that on this sheet. So I think that's just really handy to look for. But look at the big beast. 1,200 employees and over, 0.02% of the market. Like no one does that. That'd be fucking nightmare by the sounds of it to me. 1,200 people to be responsible for and payroll. Imagine the payroll on that. Fucking mental. And then lastly, I think what's good is the amount of companies in each trade. So you can sort of see, right, how many of you are out there because you're trying to nick a piece of that market and take a sliver of the market for where you are. But I think it's just good to understand for your actual trade. So, by all means, pause this video as you're watching it to get the numbers for you. But the top line of the bigger boys, basically. So property developers, there's 43,000 of them. But when you're looking at your individual trades for what you do, demolition companies, there's only 782, but it's only a small part of the market. Roofers, there's 10,000 roofers, 6,000 scaffolders, 46,000 electricians, 40,000 plumbers, and it goes on. What's the smallest one here? It's demolition, isn't it? The biggest is actually electrical. So what's good with all this information, rewatch it and go through it and understand it. So it's, you see the line for you and your company, but obviously take that one there. If you're being a electrician, there's 46,000 electrical companies out there. What separates you apart from the rest? There's a lot of choice for the punter, for the customer buying and paying for stuff. There's a shitload of choice. So you've got to stand out from your market. And when you really understand these numbers, you know where you are, where you sit, and the potential as well. Because a lot of the times, I think reason that people stick in the £500,000 bracket, the 0 to £500,000, is the perspective. You don't understand what's possible, the size of the market, and once your brain registers that and go, fuck me, we're not actually doing very much at all, then your brain starts going, well, how do we jump to the next one? And for me, it's always going to come down to the people in your business, your skill sets, your knowledge, and then your action of implementing all that stuff. So I hope you found this useful. Just a quick geeky video today on statistics of the UK. Check out all the other videos I'll link below, and I'll see you on the next one.